This fool seems to think Starfield is a timed exclusive.
But that's so dumb!
Let's go take a look.
Could Starfield end up being a timed
Exclusive.
I know this seems crazy. I've gotten a lot of pushback on this theory, but
Well, duh.
No you got pushback. It's a brain dead take. Are you really surprised about that? I'm more surprised you lack the self-awareness to figure this out.
I think there are a lot of recent developments that point to the possibility of this being the plan all along, long.
And yet, I somehow have serious doubts about that. But you know what? Carry on. I want to hear more about why you seem to think this.
Not necessarily related to the Activision deal, but I do think that may push this becoming a concession from Xbox. Becoming a concession from Xbox. But I want to look at a lot of different things. I know people are probably thinking,
This is clickbait. There's just no way, man.
let me walk through all of the different things that I've discovered. I've done a lot of research.
Oh, wait, you serious? Let me laugh even harder.
If you've done a lot of research and this video is the end result, you really need to spend twice, maybe thrice as long doing your research. And look, I'm going to jump to where he gets to the point. He's kind of wasting our time rambling like this.
So, first order of business, this is a Game Informer article from back in September the 22nd of 2022. Starfield was reportedly in talks to be aimed as a PS5
Exclusive.
before the Microsoft acquisition. Now, many people have dismissed this.
No shit.
They've just said there's
No way that was ever gonna happen.
I think there were even remarks recently from Todd Howard about like they build for Xbox first.
You think Microsoft bought Bethesda just for them to not have this game be exclusive?
That's a good one.
And if that's not enough for you, here's this. Now the way he said it is worded kinda weirdly, but just look at it real closely.
That doesn't mean that these talks weren't already potential in the works if you consider what was going on at the time. So right here, the latest report about one of the alternate timelines for Starfield comes from esteemed journalist and industry insider Imran Khan.
I went and looked at his tweet and he didn't cite any sources. In addition to that, he's a games journalist, and games journalists don't have a whole lot of integrity. And yeah, I understand not every games journalist is bad, but every time I see a games journalist, I just take what they have to say with a grain of salt.
According to a recent Twitter post from Khan, quote, the timing on this announcement is absolutely fascinating. The week after Sony solidifies their existing exclusivity with some Bethesda games, but the day before, Xbox opens up pre-orders.
Okay, so let me explain the difference between those two situations. In the case of Sony, they didn't buy Bethesda, they just bought timed exclusivity. In the case of Microsoft, they actually bought Bethesda.
So they've got these deals with Deathloop and Ghostwire, which Ghostwire is going to play a part in this video. Bear with me. I'll get to it in a moment.
Oh boy, I can't wait to hear what you mean by that take.
One eternity later.
I want you to think about when this lands in the timeline. This is in September of 2020, okay? This is 3 years ago. 2 years after this, the game's supposed to be launching, right? So you're in you got 2 years left in your development pipeline. That means there's a version for the PlayStation 5.
There may, and I want to emphasize, may have been one in the works back in early 2020. But the only way I see Starfield being a timed exclusive is if Sony ports one of their exclusives over to Xbox.
That is not going to happen.
There's absolutely no way they were going to negotiate a timed exclusivity deal for a port or something that wasn't being built for the PS5. So that means there is a build somewhere that was being worked on. We don't know if it was completely stopped or halted. Objection!
At this point, I would place my bets on that port being scrapped if it ever existed to begin with.
Tactical nuke incoming!
We don't even know if they tucked this away as a backup plan.
This might be hard to believe, but are you aware that nobody gives a shit?
For something to do later on down the line, given they want to recoup those costs on the deals. They want to recoup those costs on the deals.
Assuming these timed exclusivity talks are real, the resources they poured into the PS5 version could have been factored into what Microsoft had to pay to merge with Bethesda.
So, one more thing we've got to look at. Now that we've looked at the PS5 exclusive talks is, I want to look at this Pete Hines interview, okay? This is NME.com reporting on this during Gamescom right here, 2021 live stream, all right? Pete Hines was, in my opinion, kind of waffling. There wasn't a lot of solidity here, okay? There wasn't a lot of solidity here, okay?
If there's not a whole lot of solidity, then there's no point in talking about it. It's pretty clear you're grasping for straws at this point.
Okay, he says this, I don't know the answer, it doesn't exist. It's not like I know it and just don't want to tell you, but the quote down here is the most important part. Starfield, it was announced as a thing that's an Xbox exclusive, he said. I don't know if I would go so far as to say you're done ever playing stuff on PlayStation, but again, I don't know the answer to that right now.
Who's that Pokemon?
Gosh.
He kind of said that in a convoluted way, you know, typical corporate speak, but I didn't interpret it that way. I interpreted it as maybe some future titles won't be exclusive, but he still said he doesn't know. I think that kind of information would be disclosed up front and not later.
Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong.
Am I wrong?
You're not wrong, Walter. You're just an asshole.
Okay then.
So everything goes through, September's when the announcement comes, and then a year later, August of 2021, this guy is head of publishing.
At Bethesda, and he's saying, I don't know. At Bethesda, and he's saying, I don't know.
Sensational.
He's saying, I don't have the answer to that right now. What I would say this indicates is nothing specific about Starfield. Nothing specific about Starfield.
I'm a dumbass. Oh,
What the f? So you just said the same thing I said. I'm still not understanding how this makes Starfield a timed exclusive. We both just agreed that most likely he wasn't talking about Starfield. All you did was just show me that some future titles may or may not be exclusive.
But it seems that there is a potential discussion going on, and there's uncertainty about the strategy going forward, which I think ties into some of the things we're going to talk about when I get to the CFO quotes.
oh my God, who the hell cares?
Kinda wish you would lay out the best evidence first. You keep alluding to what
We're going to talk about later, but
I'm really not looking forward to it if these are your best efforts so far.
scheme! Continue?
I think they started looking at the way they wanted to treat property that they bought and were thinking through, what could we do to maximize the profitability here? I don't think limiting titles forever to your ecosystem is something that Microsoft is interested in long term. I think some of the things we're seeing with how hard they're pressing for the Activision deal to go through by just handing out 10-year contracts to literally anybody who can hold a pen.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer? Qualcomm punch!
They handed out that deal because Jim Ryan, Stays Lion, was trying to block the merge, pretending that they are looking out for customers. In addition to that, Jim was trying to label Microsoft a monopoly.
Batter up!
A new record!
Falcon kick!
They're seemingly more interested in software distribution, as well as mobile, my gosh. But that's the bigger picture here, is I don't think they're so interested anymore. Like, no, it's on our system and it's never going anywhere. Let's look at some of the other things that I think are very, very telling. In the wake of the Starfield announcement, this is the official Bethesda.net website. It was pointed out to me that there's interesting phrasing, because I was trying to say, hey, is it coming to Game Pass? What's going on? Game Pass is no longer in the marketing of, like, the trailer. It's right here, play it day one on Game Pass. So that's not in dispute. That's not really worth discussing. We know it's a day-and-date title. Right here is what I want to focus on, and I've researched this, so track with me here. Starfield arrives exclusively on Xbox Series X, S, and PC on September the 6th, 2023. Arrives exclusively is such a strange way of putting it.
You stole 12 minutes of my time, and this is the best you can do? The only interesting thing about your video is how you lack the self-awareness to figure out why you got pushback on your bad take. You didn't prove jack shit. If you've made it this far into the video, you are the absolute fucking best. I appreciate you. If you haven't already, make sure to check out my other videos and hit the subscribe button.
Now that's a lot of damage!